Good morning. Hello, everyone. Good morning again. And my name is Sanchita Pal. I'm a contracts and grant supervisor at UC Berkeley. And today I have the pleasure of welcoming all of you to the session, The Power of Connection, Networking, and Mentoring, presented by Lucrecia Iruela. I forgot how to Iruela. Is that the correct way to say it? Okay, thank you. So with that, I'm happy to introduce you to our presenter, Lucrecia Iruela. So Lucrecia is a multi-talented professional with 25 plus years of experience as a seasoned leadership coach, career catalyst, storyteller, and HR consultant in multiple countries. Her work in Silicon Valley has allowed her to support the largest tech companies such as Google, Apple, and LinkedIn. In addition to working with Fortune 500 companies, she collaborates with agencies, nonprofits, and universities. She creates leadership programs and workshop contents. She speaks and writes for Forbes, AMA, CEO Magazine, and other publications. Lucrecia's experience as an attorney, founder, and CEO of several startups has given her the mindset to understand corporate culture and succeed in different environments. So let's welcome our today's presenter, Lucrecia Iruela.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So let's dive in. We don't have, well, that's a beautiful, wonderful introduction. I hope that now I can, the content today is at the level of your beautiful words. We don't have a lot of time, and I started in leadership when I was very young. I was 18, and everything has changed so much. I don't love to deliver content without having participation from your end, because I feel like we can access to the information more than ever. And I like to give it specifically to your needs today. So today is the power of connection, and I would love to connect as much as we can in this 60 minutes. And then I'm available for whatever you need, networking and mentoring. Today, I'm prepared to talk about focus on your career, not your job, branding, storytelling, the pillars of connecting, understanding the common blockers, and the high achievers. As I said, this is ideally interactive, and I prepare a workbook for you, because even if you don't talk to me today, you can start working on the topics that we're going to cover. So I believe it's already put it in the chat. You said is not editable, but you can have it. You can take notes on the side and go back. They have some graphics, so you will remember some of the tools that I deliver for you today. And I'm ready to talk about this. But in order to connect better with you, what would you like to get off the session today? Please speak if you have the micro ready or in chat. I'm going to be very curious about what do you expect today? What do you want to get from this? I think Amy?
I recently just asked someone to be my mentor, and we met for the first time, and I didn't feel like it was a particularly productive conversation. So I'm looking for like really specific things on like how to organize our time and what to ask for.
Yeah, so thank you. You mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned organization, but at the beginning, there was something else, right? The connecting with the mentor, the why with the mentor. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, strategies for being authentic when networking. Okay. Let's see. I don't think I have specific strategies, but I hope that I can fill in that when I am delivering. I would love to learn more about how to reach out people. Yes, which it could be the same as a strategy, right? How to reach out to people. Let me see if I can read it. How to maintain the relationship. Exactly. How to keep the momentum going. What else? I think Greg.
Hi.
Yes.
This is going to sound really vague, but I don't really, I have the decades-long problem is I don't really know what I want to be doing. And I'm always just kind of falling into what I can do. So I think choosing a mentor, what I've been told so many times in my life, well, Greg, if you don't know what you want to do, we can't help you. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I've been told that. And I think it's very inaccurate. I know that if someone asks me for help, I always say, well, I can do this for you. Would that work? I mean, people don't really know how to help, I think. That's one common problem I get, but I've heard that so many times in my life, I can't even tell you. Well, if you don't know what you want to do, I can't help you. And
Yes. Yes.
so that's the goal is like, well, who am I don't know if I want to do, so network with who? I guess that's maybe too vague.
Yes, no, it's absolutely the key. It's absolutely the key. And I believe, I already know that this is an extremely engaged group and there is a debate to go deep. So let's see if we can go as deep as I would love to, but absolutely, I totally grasp that. Yes, there is no reason to do the mentoring if we are not ready and the other person is ready. Absolutely. So imposter syndrome, I read it too. Yes, understand the similar boat, hoping to learn how to better connection again, virtual world, maintain virtual, yes, effective mentor. I find that were really overwhelming. Yes. I am actually writing an article now this week for Forbes about, is this even worth it? We're so overwhelmed, right? So let's see. Thank you so much. You can keep posting. And if we have any way that I can answer the questions later on, I am more than welcome. So let's just start from some framework in order to face what we want, that is connecting and networking. And the very first thing is our inner core, our self-knowledge, self-awareness, our well-being. Be okay with us. And what is your self-talk? That's, even though it doesn't seem connected to what we're gonna do, is crucial, because we're gonna feel awkward connecting with people. We're gonna feel overwhelmed, as the peer said. We wanna feel why and what, right? So what is your self-talk is very important. And then the leadership skills, communication. Sometimes it's better to understand the way we communicate more than just go to an event and start talking to people. Prime for trust. We talk about it. Working percent are relationships. And the external, we need to be the subject matter expert in something. And that's very difficult too. I mean, in this environment of the university is easier, maybe, perhaps, because we like to dive into topics. But in general, when I teach engineers, for instance, that is not as clear as we may believe. But that's something that we need to start thinking about, the subject matter expert. And with that in mind, we need to stop doing things, start and investing. So stop putting your job before your career. That's the first thing. We have a lot of things in front of us, huge to-do list. But what about us? Is because the manager needs us versus is because I need this for the future. So it's long-term versus short-term, if you will. But it's also the North Star, is your vision, is the things that if we don't utilize these spaces or the coaching or even the mentoring, but sometimes the mentoring is more hands-on, that vision, we won't get there. So it's extremely important, and I invite you to start thinking. I want to give you some questions in a moment, and start building your authentic brand. And not only building, because there are so many workbooks and workshops about branding, which I don't love the word brand. I will explain that in a moment too, but also utilizing and showing your brand, which is more difficult because we are our product. We are the CEO and the product of us, the self-advocate. And then investing in connecting relationships, reputation, and visibility, even if it's uncomfortable. So the 4 main questions are who you are, what is your story, what are your values, what do you want to accomplish? Who are you, right? That's on purpose, putting the grammar in the other sense, because you need to start believing and thinking about it. What do you want to accomplish? I would love to hear that just from your gut, from your first instinct. Don't really worry about specific goals. Does anyone like to share that? What do you want to accomplish? It's pretty big, I know. But we need to start thinking big to go small.
Did you want to comment or no? Or...
Yeah.
I mean, it's tricky, but work-wise, I mean, if you're asking for personal accomplishment, I have a personal story that I've never heard in my life all over the world. And I'd love to get that story out to the world and help people with it.
Yeah. Great comment. In today's world, which is connecting, we're talking human to human, and the work that I do, I don't really distinguish personal and professional, because our biggest fantasy, our North Star, is connected because it's our values. So the closer we are in the profession versus persona, the better. And sometimes we create a wall, and that's a barrier per se, because we have a lot of things from even when we were a child that we are stopping from flourishing, and that's part of us. Very minor little things are very important, right? You can bring that to your work and the other way around. So the invitation is also how closer can you be to your authentic self, to your authentic passions, and combine those. And because you can utilize those as a metaphor, right? If you love music, I was a ballerina and I was an attorney, and I didn't have the courage to combine both. And it was through my mentors who say, you need to start telling the world who you are, because we care about that part. And I was not brave enough to say I was a ballerina, because in Europe, I'm from Spain, that was a bad thing, right? Like, you're a ballerina, you cannot be an attorney. In the States, that background mattered a lot. So it's a cliche, but unleashing that aspect will help us to accomplish even better. So I'm happy with my current role, and somehow I feel the pressure to do more and advance, but I'm scared to lose sight of myself and my values. Absolutely. So yes, we need to do what we need to do in order to preserve our paycheck and our stability, but we also need to know the values, and through communication, we can share those. And the more we do it, the more respect we want to have. And I understand that there are managers, then there are directors, and they are not good people to be around with. But in general, I'm talking in general, in the leadership, the clearer we have, or we are with ourselves, and the clearer we put it out there, the easier to establish what is okay and what is not okay. So you want to have positive impact as well. Yes, because you will have more positive impact if you believe in your impact already. And the only thing you need to do is express it. And that's part of the mentoring too. If you have a clear idea of what you want to accomplish, you need to put it out there. You need to make sort of a proposal, sort of, this is what I've been thinking about, and start articulating to the right key players. Not always the people around us will help us, but we need to do that type of work. This is what I believe we should do. Those are the suggestions that I've seen. This is the proposal that I would love to put out there. That's part of the conversation that we can develop with the mentors, that we can develop around us. Yes, authentic self showing. Well, I love this community. Oh my God, I really like it. It's very engaged. Not every class is like that. So sometimes it's like, I want to know more from you. And this is absolute, I need 3 hours. So I need to support my family and see career advancement as an important component of this goal. Both, yes. And somehow we need to take the time to do both. And I'm going to give you a tool that I think you're going to value in a moment. So focus on your career, not your job. This is the framework of the last few minutes. I'm going to give you the tool. We're going to dive into the tool. Thank you. Yes, for those who are joining, this is interactive as much as we can with a limited time. But even if I hear a sentence, I have a better idea, even more of what you want to, what is your desire for today. This is the tool. I've been using this and people really like it. People appreciate it because we have two things, right? Pretty much the opposite. One is the job and the other one is the career. And in the left, we see the doing, and in the right, we see the thinking. We need to go from the doer to thinker. And nobody's going to help us to do this jump. Nobody. Because managers are focused on their own, milestones, deadlines, their own issues. But we need to separate. So the doing is executing of time. Most of us were in the doing. I'm delivering. I'm a good employee. I am here for others. I collaborate. I don't sleep. I turn the papers on time. I'm hoping that people see it. I'm hoping that I'm going to get the promotion. I'm hoping and I'm valued. Unfortunately, that's not really the case. There are some exceptions. There are excellent people, excellent directors, and they're looking for the best talent and say, oh, I really want you and come with me. But usually it's the other way around. We need to go. So we are focused on our skill set, the strengths. Oh, I'm good at this and this and this in all of the reports. Yes, but we need to start acquire new skills. And that's going to take us to a different level. So my good friend and mentor is Marshall Goldsmith. I don't know if you heard about him. Google it. Is the father of the modern coaching, executive coaching. And he has a book called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. And that's the idea, right? Today we need to start doing things in a different way to go there. Coordinating is that's what we do. We need to start strategically and critical thinking, getting things done to making decisions. What are those decisions? Instead of being the point of contact, create new connections. Work with our team, start knowing other teams. Delivering, that's what we do. Experimenting, innovating. You can experiment and innovate with your mentors. Everything is applicable to see something new with your mentors instead of focus on, I really want to deliver this in a better way. So pretty much it's hands-on versus visibility. Yes, difference. Someone says management and leadership. Yes, that's another aha moment that we can have. Yes, can be hands-on, visibility, management, leadership, doing thinking today, tomorrow. Whatever it helps, it is a different mindset, a different plan, a different strategy. Building and showing your brand. And I was an attorney specialized in IP, trademarks. Trademarks are the brands. And I was devastated when I had to tell my clients, unfortunately, your business you have been operating, you put in a lot of money on this, is not registerable. Now you need to redo your packaging, your everything. And some of them, they were like even shipping sugar from overseas. It's like, well, unfortunately, if you want to protect your brand in the States, you need to have a trademark. And they need to change completely the business model and the business and the brand. And that happens with Disney movies. You know, you get the idea. We are responsible for our own persona. Our own persona is the brand. It's not the labels that we want to put out there, because that's all day branding. Today's branding is about identity. Whenever you feel identity is for you, authenticity, uniqueness, and style advocacy. I am in the Silicon Valley, and there is extremely, I have a sentence, hopefully you get it. You need to fit in to succeed. You need to fit out to exceed. So the out is the closer we are to who we are. You know, I'm teaching with the accent, I'm teaching with the grammarly incorrected, but I, believe it or not, I coach executives in communication, because there are a lot of things that you can learn that is the framework, but you also need to learn how to say what you think, what you feel at the right moment with the right people. And that's going to take someone has, Samantha, you have a question?
Yes, hello. My question is, I come from more of a customer service background and I've moved into an office. I'm struggling a bit with being my authentic self and showing my brand and personality, which is strong, but also maintaining a level of professionalism, you know, in like more of an office setting, in my interactions with people and in my like writing and in emails. I wondered if you had any tips for that.
Yes. Yes. I would love to know what is in conflict, right? What are you putting about yourself that is in conflict with the profession? But there is always a sentence that we can put ourselves out there. There is always something that people can understand more about us. It could be sweet and short, it could be long. It doesn't really need to be connected to the delivery, that the content has to be something, you know, at the beginning, more like an intro, or at the end, because emails need to be very precise and to the point. Otherwise, you don't come across. But if you have something in mind where people say, oh, you are not a good fit because I've heard this, too passionate, right? You put a lot of passion and people feel overwhelmed, too direct. But usually those things are something different. Those are cliches. Are you telling me that Steve Jobs was not passionate? He was. So when they talk about passion, what is that? Are you taking too long to go to the point? Are you defensive? You're not listening. You're talking more than listen. What is behind the passion? Because if it's the passion, I don't take it. The very passionate people are the people that are really making the impact in the world, right? Like Ruth Ginsburg, right? In the Supreme Court. So those are typical, the ones where people are telling me, I cannot be me, I'm very direct. Are you direct, or you are trying to convince people? Because if you're trying to convince people, that's something different. If you are direct, saying something that you see, people should not get offended. So the intention behind is what I will watch out. No more you. That's not you. That's the way you are presenting yourself. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Let's go. And maybe this, Samantha, this will help you, I think, even more the next tool. This is the identity. This is what do you stand for as an individual. So sometimes our values are in conflict with other values. And I'm just focused on Samantha because I don't know if she completely loved the answer that I gave her. So I'm a little bit more committed. So for instance, we love to help. We really want to help, and that's our value. But we need to understand that some people, their value is to do everything. I really want to do everything. So now we have two values, and they are in friction. We need to understand that the other person is not going to open up because that person believes that she wants to do everything herself because she needs to prove whatever, her job, her value, her position, her new position. We don't know what that person is coming from. But the more we understand the values of us, the better we will see what is in conflict. Of course, withholding information is not a good thing in general, right? But if we do it, we need to start thinking, what is the reason behind? And change that aspect of us. If it's in the internal part, or if it's the external, we need to start observing and maybe tailor that in a different way. Maybe we are the ones who need to start being more generous with that person until that person start opening up. So the brand is, we have a lot internal, then we need to start allowing ourselves to put it outside. So the talents, we have talents and we believe that they're hobbies or just a home or people should notice. We need to convert those in skills. So most of the times we focus on the skills because that's what we hear in our job description. But the talents is what we believe we're good at. So that's an example of how to put the brand out there. You have the ability to reflect on them, people will understand you more, and the impact in your career will be there. Is this making sense? If you believe that you are a fit, what is that environment? Start thinking and putting the words and explain that connection. Right? Sometimes we don't feel we fit, but we know that we can add value. Articulating that is important, and see the reactions and see if we can change things. Perception, same thing. The perception of us are going to be different than the perception of others. The perception that they have about you. Questions. Who would like to talk? Who would like to ask? Greg? Yes.
And I'll say, yeah, just so the inner circle is our identity, and the outer part of that is how we're going to use that or transition that, or no?
Yes, that's the external. Yes.
What is the so values and conflicted values? What is it? You maybe
That's what I explained about.
Yeah, what is that?
For instance, some people believe, this is an example, right? Some people believe that being on time is the most important thing. Other people feeling like flexibility is way more important, right? Some teams are focused on deadlines very precisely. Other teams are thinking more, well, I need to do more research about this. So the value of delivering versus the value of going further, right? The value of cutting corners versus the value of efficiency. Those are the values that we need to start observing because they are in conflict for sure. I believe this is the right thing to do. The right thing to do is not going to be the same for you. For me, the right thing to do is this. And I can be, giving you arguments, but understanding that there is also the value of the other person is in conflict. Right? Simplicity. For some people, simplicity is a value, is one of the values at Apple, for instance. Right? Other companies don't believe in simplicity. Google is not as simple as Apple in the emails, in their communications, internally, right? Apple is like, boom, boom, clear. Google is like, okay, you have 30 pages, good luck, and find the information out there. You can see it even in their products, right? It's a value. I just gave you examples. So with all of that, how are we going to influence others to pursue others through our words, our communication, and that's the storytelling. Storytelling, we know this, but it's good to review. The most important thing is we start with you with intention. What do I want the audience to do with it? But then immediately we don't go to the content. And that's what we do. We go to the content. It's like, start preparing the presentation. No, we need to go to the audience. What do they care about? What is it for them? What do they need to know instead of what I want to tell them? And then the content. We need to start using more clearly the beginning, the middle, of the end, and the end with the Olympic opening, and inspire, desire, resonate, and care. This is very straightforward, and I'm going to give you a more inspirational quote. A really good friend she passed, really good coach, Judith Glaser. She said, to get to the next level of greatness depends on the quality of the culture, which depends on the quality of the relationships, which depends on the quality of the conversations. Everything happens through a conversation. And that's our story. That's our message. That's our delivery. I would love to stay there for months, if you will, but now we need to go to the relationships because of the timing. So invest in relationships. With everything that we have, now we can go to leverage ourselves. We cannot start in networking and connecting if we don't connect with ourselves and we don't connect with our story. Usually people start with this because that's what we care and that's what we need. But the prep is before this. We cannot go out there with our own brand if we don't understand our product, if we don't understand what are all of the components of our product. The same way that if you have a startup, you invest a lot to understand what you're trying to do and what is that? What is the product? What is the service? What are the flaws? What are the strengths? What are the competitors? What do I want to tell? What is the message? And then you go, when you have everything done, then you go to find the right people. The pillars of connecting. Leverage your network, which is what we know. And I'm inviting you to go to the expand your network, which is the unknown, which is way more difficult because we have no clue. But we need to put ourselves out there. So the leverage our network, and a lot of people ask about that at the beginning. So let's go. Networking is an excellent resource, but it's part of developing, learning, a promotion, and do business. So understanding the aspect of the business from different angles are going to help us with the mentoring, sponsoring, or the coaching. It's not passive. It's a work. It's not a bad thing. So we need to take the stigma. It's not imposed. It's not something that we need to do because everyone does. We're seeking for something. We need to understand the value. We need to know what we want, or at least to have the sensation of what we want. If someone has a specific question about mentoring, sponsorship or coaching, or their different project or whatever is that word in French, I don't know how to pronounce it, but ask me. The project, the sponsorship, the mentorship, the coaching. I have also a power present. I mean, a slide with the differences, but all of them, they contribute to your growth, hold you back, believe in you, and challenge you. And someone said at the beginning, I don't know if I connect with the mentor that well. That's even more important than talk about the plan. And not everyone is aligned with ourselves, with our values, with what we want. And mentors, it is a very delicate figure because mentors are going to tell you the way they did and the way it worked for them. And sometimes is not ideal. Sometimes is not going to work for you. And the mentors force you. And I have had so many mentors in my life. And I remember the VP of HR at Apple, he was pushing me in his direction. And some point I said, and he's a good friend, and I know this is recorded, but I say, Brent, I have a different vision. I don't know if you are completely accurate and right. I'm going to tell you what I think. After years, and that day he became my sponsor. That day he started talking about me when I was not in the room. The day that I say, well, I disagree. I am sorry. I don't see it. I have my own way. So mentors sometimes they want to have more they use us as apprenticeships. You need to do this way. I'm going to train you. And that's not exactly what we need, because that's good for something more like artisan. But in your career, there are components that mentor doesn't know and didn't experience. So that's something that you can do it more in technical aspects, more than in intangibles, if it makes sense. What is very important for networking is the group of reference. And I always share that my mentors are the very best. Marshall Goldsmith is my mentor in coaching. I have other businesses, and in the wearable is more like fashion and luxury. And Diane von Furstenberg is my mentor. I admire her as a leader. She's also a very women advocate. And it took me years, but I reached her, and she's helping me in my career. So having those role models and the group of reference, people that you can start hanging out with, learning from, going to that specific group is very difficult. And even I feel like the struggle in myself, because I know it's very difficult, but that's what we need to do. We need to stop going to the circles that we're comfortable with and conquering new spaces. And the more we relate to those groups, the more we're going to learn from them. In my writing, I have also a very famous writer that he's helping me with my writing. And when I was a dancer, a ballerina, I hang out with the very best, to the point that I invite you all to go to see San Francisco Ballet, which is Spanish women, Tamara Rojo, my friend. So I'm just giving you examples of, if you love something, find the best source possible and learn from that person. And then everything else, the mentors in your office, the mentors in your department, the mentors in, different universities, different circles and beyond. So questions about this? Comments?
Hey, Lucrecia, there was a question about someone wanted to know the name of your mentor and their book.
Yes,
So,
Marshall.
you can email them also directly later, or you can just put it in that. We can put it in the chat, however way you would like to do it.
Yes. I'm gonna say one more time. I don't want to touch my screen because I have so many. It's like a puzzle. Marshall Goldsmith. Triggers, the book, for instance, was one of the bestsellers. What got you here won't get you there. Good, really good person to learn from. Go to the initiate, co-create, and feed forward. And this is the people talking about, the mentors and sponsors. We need to initiate. We need to look for it, initiate, be prepared, be yourself, and engage, showing your interest, your passion, successes, and showcases. The more you show, the better. I would love to do this. I've been thinking about that. This is my reflection of an article. I'm writing my own whatever. Even if it's not related to your job or what you want to accomplish, because that's going to open up things. You need to initiate. There is no way, and someone told me, it was a director, it's like, oh, I talked to the VP in this conference, and I asked him about if he want to be my mentor, and he said yes. It's been 6 months, he hasn't sent any email. And I said, are you really waiting for the VP to reach you to say yes, let's start the mentorship? Nobody won't do it. You need to open up the door little by little every day with something that you believe in, a comment, a reflection. And it is true they don't respond, they will. And some point when they see your name enough, with enough thoughts and value, they will pay attention to you. If they're good. If not, it's okay. Let it go. But all of the mentorships that I had in my life, some of them are taking 10 years. It's not easy. But there are middle mentors in between, which are very valuable. And those little mentors, you can start learning from them, and then create your own thinking process and your line of thought, modify it, and go to the next one with all of that experience. Together is a priming for trust. And you need to put the value in that. It's like, okay, I've been noticing, how can we can work together. Maybe this is not my place to say, but I would like to. So together, the prime for trust has to be. So with Diane, I met her several times. One day I approached her, she gave me her personal phone number. It's called Diane von Furstenberg, very big into the leadership world as well, and for women especially, and minorities. She works a lot with the Viral Voices, Hillary Clinton nonprofit, and she gave me her personal number. We had a commitment, and I lost. There was about products. I lost the products. Someone stole the products. I lost the trust. I needed to start all over again, building up that trust, because you were like, oh, an obstacle. Oh, another obstacle. Oh. So sometimes a no is, instead of feeling a rejection, is I need to work harder. I need to do something more creative to come back. I need to keep working on what I believe and put yourself out there without fear. Has to be transparent, has to be, open to share together. And after, has to be proactive, accountable, answerable, work toward the goal, flexible, trust your intuition, and give more than you receive. Is that, I hope that this is answering some of your questions. I know it's more vague than I would love to go, but it's to start. This is to start with. This is something, I don't know if it's in your workbook, but this is something that people love, but I think it doesn't really matter if it's your sponsor or your mentor or your coach. Everything is right there. This is also one of my favorite. Peter Drucker was the leader of management leadership. I mean, the first one. There is a debate there, doesn't matter. Peter Drucker was a mentor of Marshall, and Marshall is my mentor. So always trying to find the best resources and the best source for you if you want to become the subject matter expert, coming back to the very beginning. So Peter Drucker, as a mentor, give me permission to be me, encourage me along the way, acknowledge my success, hold me accountable. He expects results. The first 3 behaviors seems easier than the last. Accountability requires a volunteer. So you can even share this with your mentors and start a debate. What is this about? What is this about? Because mentoring is not a direct report relationship. It's not like manager direct report relationship. And sometimes we go thinking that way. We need to go more creative. We need to go more free. We need to go with more courage and and explore things, if it makes sense. Blockers. Well, do we have questions about this? Because I don't want to go into the very final, which is more the commitment of you. I've heard a lot of interest in networking and mentoring. Any comments? What questions do you have?
I have a question, comment. It seems like at the bottom line of this, you still have to know where you want to go as far as using a mentor or whatever. And the example I'll give is that decades ago, I was a professional singer and I took a lot of voice lessons. And what I realized is that a voice teacher's greatest weakness is their own natural ability. Because they can't tell you, well, this is how it feels in my throat. Teach me, and they couldn't. So it seems like if you're going to search for a mentor, you really still have to know where you want to go, right? Because what you can't just go, I want to go up.
Yes. However, a good conversation is enough sometimes. If you admire someone, if you want to talk to someone, you don't need a goal, you don't need a North Star, because that's too difficult. Sometimes a good conversation now, today, is something that you learn about a person. That's how I met Marshall. I didn't approach Marshall and say, you know what, I really want to do a TED Talk of 10,000 people and I want to have a New York Times bestseller. And no, I say, Marshall, I admire you. Give me one tip. Start from that. And he was like, oh, I'm very busy, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, the tip doesn't work. Marshall, we met, we have this friend in common, whatever, second try. Oh, Marshall, I read this. I love it. Oh, yeah, everyone loves the book. Okay, this is not working. And one day he wrote something in New York Times, and I was like, okay, Marshall, what about this? Did you like that? I hate it. I told them not to put it. Engagement. Now you have something. You have story. You have something to tell. Present, future. You don't need to have the pressure of 5 years planned. You need to have just a fantasy of the moment. Sharing something specific. And I remember with Diane was talking a lot about seduction. And it's like, well, I cannot even talk about seduction, but I was a model and in fashion. And now everyone is attacking me when I talk about seduction and I wrote in Instagram, like, seduction is persuasion. And he was like, oh, I love the persuasion and seduction. Can I use it? Is your sentence? Like, yes, use it. It's my sentence. Sometimes small things, but they're brave. They're brave because they may get offended, right? But you are trying. You're trying new things. So you don't really need to go with a 5 year, 10 years business plan to approach someone because they may not even be aligned with that person. And it's pretty intimidating. But if you know a little bit of, we know if we like that direction or the other direction, or if we want to explore, we can even go exploring. I have a question. How can I do this? Specific doesn't mean huge request either. Greg, is that enough? I don't think it's enough, but is that
No,
enough?
that was really good. Sometimes just ask a question and get a conversation going is because I think it's very intimidating to have a feeling of, you don't know your perfect goal. Well, I can't help you. It kind of goes along with that. So I think that a starting conversation, just to have a conversation, is a very good start. Thank you.
And if they're not ready, don't take it as they don't like you. Say, maybe I'm not ready. I will try later, or maybe they had a bad day because they're busy. It's not easy to connect in general. It's not easy to connect with our heroes, if you think about it, or even the directors are pretty busy. But yes, and if they don't respond, you are having a conversation, even if they read something that they may think about it. So don't give up, even if they say, oh, it was not engaging enough. But you are leaving something there. And it may not work with that person, it may work with the next person. So the more the better as well. The problem with the more the better is you need to follow up, and we're busy. But the follow-up is super important. I always said excuses are great. Christmas, vacation, whatever, Thanksgiving, always great, because a way of contacting with nothing. And in the middle, other things for what you need them. So not always is gonna be immediate. Not always we need them. We're not always ready, but there are like some seeds and we're putting out there. And again, even one person can take us to the next person. And even if the person is not giving you the phone number or the email, you will, I've been in contact with this person. I learned this, and then you go from there, because you are creating the group of reference, if you will. So the group of reference is there, but you also work with it. You create it. You are putting the dots for them. So with the viral voices, I help them to organize a mentor walk in a Google. I gave the key. Well, don't worry if you don't remember. I was the one who did that. Oh, really? Oh, let me introduce you to this person. Oh, thank you so much. We create the work of reference as well. It's not comfortable. I don't like it. I do it. Don't think about it. And then I go home and then I feel all of this. I'm going to show you what I feel. Imposter syndrome. I don't know my purpose. I'm not good at storytelling. Networking is not my thing. We all feel that. All. Multiple times a day, by the way. So high achievers, action-oriented individuals, we have a clear mindset. Okay, let's do it. Success is a moving target. Adding is a must. Be a student at all times. Resilience and perseverance. There is another good book about high achievers by Ruth Gotian, another really good friend. Wonderful coach and a PhD in one of the top universities in the East Coast. I don't remember now. And she calls it, how she called this, friend mentorship or something like that. Like your peers will be your mentors later on. And there is also another book that now I'm having in mind. I met the author. It's called Reverse Mentoring, meaning that was applied in Virgin American. I also know the coach. An excellent concept. Starting Ransom started the other way around. I want to learn from the young people. I want to reverse the mentoring. So if you are directing a department, or if you have access to managers, you can even say that I would love to do reverse mentoring because I want to learn from the young people. And that's a way that they are going to believe more in your department and believe more in you. They're going to be heard, and you're going to learn things that you never thought about. Reverse mentoring. I would love to stop in each of them, but because of the timing and everything, this is what are you committing to try? So, Samantha, can you please say what adding is a must means? Yes. I don't know the context or which specific moment I say, but it says, I believe it's mentoring, right? The previous slide. You need to add things that are coming from you. You need to be the thinker that we mentioned before. Not only say, I'm delivering this on time, I'm doing what my manager is telling me to do. Is also, and you know what? I've been thinking about the opposite. And I know that you're not gonna use it, but it really resonates. Or I feel that something is not quite right. And this is my thought. So adding is a must, means that you need to work very thoroughly in what you believe and what is your point of view, and the ways and freely what will be your way. What will be. So when I write in my articles, all my good, these big New York Times bestsellers, they have articles. I also have my articles. And they say, Lucrecia, but your articles are always kind of controversial, or it's like, yes, because I don't like to do a mini books. Mini books are so easy. Those are the 4 elements of trust. I like more to say, is really trusting real? Do we trust people? Do we believe them they will do what we do? Or we trust because they're going to do it their way and we like it? If I give a house, the keys of my house, what trust means? Meaning that you're going to treat the house as I would treat the house, or whatever you do with the house, I'm okay with it. It's very easy to cite the elements of the trust. But putting a reflection out there is more difficult. For me to write for people to read is more uncomfortable. That's the adding part. So I've seen many things in the chat. Is anyone would like to highlight? I think we're getting into the questions, or Sanchita, help me. I think I'm done on my end. Thank you.